I'm Lisa
Hello.
Freeman.
Oh,
This
there
is
he is.
Stefan Campbell
Is the man of the hour.
and Stevie Mackey. Hello.
You did it. You know, you're on mute right now. If you can, you're on mute right now.
There we go.
Woo-hoo.
And he opens it. Wait, first of all, let me introduce you, but and I also want to introduce Lisa and I again. You know, I'm Stefan Campbell. I'm with, coming out of the fashion world. I'm now in the screenwriting world, and Lisa, she can speak for herself.
Oh no, please speak for me. It's been a really long day. You tell me. Tell me my me. Tell me my me.
Actor, no, graphic artist, writer extraordinaire. We've seen her in some of the biggest Hollywood movies ever made. Thank you very much, Back to the Future.
Well, it was a really great living, and it taught me how to write, being an actor. And I've mentioned that I've finished a new novel, and it's going in on Friday the 13th. So, woo, not sleeping. Stevie, I'm sure you understand what it's like getting ready to drop it in the basket.
Well, let me introduce Stevie. This is really special because his insight, his voice, his vision, his know-how, what he's been through to become the person that he is today is inspiring to me, and I know it's going to be inspiring to you, Lisa, and to everybody else. But I'm not going to go too much into detail about Steve Mackey because I want him to talk about himself to you, but let's just say he is a voice of a generation. I have never heard anybody with his range, his talent, and knows how to bring it out of other people so beautifully. And most importantly, he creates community, so we'll talk about all those things while we're on, because I know you have many questions, Lisa, and there's many things for Stevie to say. And I know that your schedule is so busy, Stevie, but enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, where have you been today, Stevie? Let's just hear what today has been for you, because I think we'll sum it all up, yeah?
Well, yeah, it kind of sums up my day. I got up and I went to Disneyland yesterday, so I screamed my voice out. I was like, I don't have to sing tomorrow. I'm at Disneyland, screaming out all the rides, and scary time of the year. And then today I wake up and I message, can you come to the studio for Jennifer Lopez? And I've worked with her for years, but there's some last minute things we're finishing up, and so get a call to go to Paramount Pictures to work with her today in the studio, and we had a great time working there, and then had to go from there to work with Coldplay, and that was amazing. They're working on music, and worked with them for a little bit, and then rushed and got some food, came home, and freshened up for the highlight of my day, and this is what I'm looking forward to.
What were you working with them on, may I ask? I know that some things are confidential due to the creative process, but can you tell us what kind of
course. Jennifer's working on a new project that's going to be coming out. So we're working on, vocals and stuff for a whole new project that's going to be coming out that she's been working on. And then Coldplay is doing the same. They're working on, while projects are out, they're always working on it behind the scenes. And they're on tour right now, and they take the off days, and they still record and work. And I think because they're surrounded by music, they're just inspired at that time too. You're inspired while you're working. So you're on tour, and then you're like, oh, I could flip this and do that song, and then that. And so ideas come to you when they come. You can't always plan for that. So you have to be ready to catch it when it comes. So they're always ready. So an idea can come up, and they're like, hey, we gotta put this down. It's your job to catch it.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Hey.
Aye.
Right.
But Jennifer Lopez is like the hardest working person in showbiz.
Hardest working. One more time. Let's do it again. Let's rehearse it again. Let's go again. That's her today. She just works, not afraid of it.
My question is, do you work with like vocals priority, or do you work in interpretations of songs? Do you work in the capacity of performance and hitting your marks? Or is it all the whole style?
It's mostly vocal. It's mostly vocal, and since I've met her, she told me when I first met her that she wanted to become a stronger singer. And she was very serious about that. She said, I've been focusing on acting and dancing. I want to really focus on singing. And so since then, we've worked a lot vocally to make her a singer where she could just sit down and sing and enjoy it and love her voice and learn her voice. So it takes a lot of work. And so I'm doing vocal production, just kind of bringing out the best in a voice, and also vocal coaching, strengthening the voice, and even some arranging. I'm not a huge songwriter. I let the people that songwrite, and I will come in and say, oh, it's better arranged like this. I'm always listening for the voice. I think my true gift that I was born with is listening.
Right. Do you hear people's voices, like when we're just having a conversation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
I already know the song I'd give you to sing. Yeah.
Very funny.
Well,
very
here's my favorite new band, and here's my favorite new lead singer, Damiano. This is my new favorite band, Måneskin. Oh, you want to hear a voice? See this little guy right here?
I'm already looking him up. See?
What a set of lungs. Boom. Ooh. Listen to some of the new album, Rush. I saw them last night at the Forum. The fabulous Forum in Inglewood. They were amazing.
It's been such a music week for the two of us. Like, I went to go see Jessie Weir at the Palladium on Monday. I know.
I love Jessie. I forgot she was performing. I listen to her all the time. She's on my playlist. Jessie Weir is so dope. Oh my gosh.
Can you go from ballads like that to singing club music like that and be like on point completely? And then tomorrow night I'm gonna go see Victoria Monet.
Yes, and I work with her. She's incredible. She is just coming to her own, and she's been a songwriter for years, like writing behind the scenes, and now she's the star.
Yes. And, I saw, of course, I follow you on Instagram, which we have to give everybody, Stevie's Instagram information. But I mean, what a year's been for you. I've been seeing you performed at the Quincy Jones event. I saw you on stage with Coldplay. I mean, you've been traveling around the world for fashion, Met Ball, red carpets.
Yeah. It's been a year. And I almost say this every year. I don't know what my life's going to hold. I don't know. And I don't know who does know. But when I do look back, I'm like, I can't believe that happened. I really can't believe it, because I just can't believe it. I don't plan for those things to happen. Those are bonuses on life. I plan to work. I plan to do certain things, but those are bonuses, and they're usually last minute. And I don't know what it is. I'm always, I like changes and last minute changes. I think that's sometimes the spirit telling you, go this way. And so it's like a soul decision. And when people do that, and musicians do that, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm that guy that will say, yes, let's just try it. Let's have a good time. And I love to live.
I saw you with Taraji also on your social media. Was that for the Color Purple?
Yeah, for Color Purple. I couldn't say it when it happened, but I can say now that was all for Color Purple. She's going to kill it. When that comes out, I think it's around Christmas or something. It's going to be incredible. She's killing it as a singer. She did so well, they called her back in to do another song after she did her first one. They were like, oh, by the way, we need more of you singing on this, more of you on that.
A far cry from hustle and flow or whatever,
Right.
And the reason why, and I want you to know, Lisa, the reason why I bring up all of these artists that Stevie works with, because it really shows his range. It shows that he can bring out a facility and people that come from so many different walks of life, and what Lisa and I always talk about is community. And to be able to do that, you have to be so in touch with a certain part of community, be able to relate to people that way. You do something on Tuesday nights called Taco Tuesdays. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Taco Tuesday. It's taken a life of its own now, but it started as my recital for my voice students. And I went to school for opera, and I loved singing in school. But what I didn't like is opera can be snobby and exclusive. I wanted to make singing more inclusive. And so I wouldn't have recitals, informal recitals, like here's the stage, here's the audience. We're all in this together. You're gonna come over, we're gonna have some tacos, whatever, and we're gonna have singing sessions. We'll work and sing on the songs that we've been working on. My voice students come over, and it's here at my house, and we'll all get around and sing together. You'll have to also sing background on the songs that have the backgrounds. You know, the backgrounds, you have to get the harmonies. You join in and do that. Everybody sings, it's like a choir, everybody sings together. It doesn't matter if it's great or not. The good ones will cover you up. And so you all just sing together and make it a thing. And so that became a type of recital that I invited my friends to, and the best singers around LA. We'd come around, people I sang choirs with, come around and sing all night until the police came and shut us down. We would sing all night and jam all night, and we still do it. And it's sometimes we're sponsored by different companies, Taco Bell bring the truck, or someone else, or this truck or that truck. So we get supported now, and it's really nice. But it started as my recital, and I've been doing it for nearly 15 years, and I'm very proud of it. And it's just how a lot of people who leave their homes to move to LA don't feel like there's a home here. And I want them to be able to see my home where I live, and I'm from here, and they can come over here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'm Angelino. I understand.
Me too.
Yeah. It's the Wild West out here, the big frontier. There's nothing you can hook onto, and you got to know where to find your people.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, let me just say to my community, happy National Coming Out Day. Aho, aho. You know, we talk to a lot of kids on this conversation format that we have. And, you know, a lot of the queer kids that we talk to, some are having a good day and some are having challenging days. And we always like to talk to people about how they became who they are and how you chose this lifestyle that you have that's so abundant and so much of service and in our creative heartbeat. So what did you say to kids who want to be in music or are having a hard day? I mean, the two kind of go together for me because my life changed after seeing Måneskin. You know, I could not, with what's going on in the world, you know, going to a concert and thinking of friends in Israel or other places of the world. And yet I went because I had my ticket and it was my favorite band, and come what may. And, you know, I felt better, and I have felt better since seeing those 4 under 25-year-olds, excuse me, thank you, you know, show Inglewood how to do it from Italia.
I love that you even mentioned their age, because it shows their courage as 25-year-olds, not knowing that they're probably touching people that are all different ages, you know, all different ages.
Oh,
people their parents age. Yeah.
Parents with their kids. That was the most amazing thing. You know, there was still pot smoke from Sly and the Family Stone, who I saw in the 70s, right? There was, but there was mom and dad with their kids, you know, and people of all nations and ages that came to celebrate, you know, this wonderful beginning of rock stardom. You know, my hope is that everybody holds out, right? It's a long road. So can you talk a little bit about how you stay healthy, what you tell kids who want to pursue your kind of work or the spotlight of being a great singer?
You know, I believe there's a song for every emotion, and music is that powerful. I think it's the most powerful thing in the world. And there's a song for everything you're going through right now. There's a song, and if there isn't a song, maybe it's your time to make it, to make that song. And so make music for every situation. Music goes along with my life. I listen to it almost all the time. And it changes, you know, it goes dark. I like sad songs, I like happy songs. I like all these type of songs because I'm feeling that, and I want the feeling to be processed and then pass over. I want the feeling to be processed. I don't want to ignore feelings. So playing a bunch of happy music doesn't fix everything for me. I'll sit in a sadness for a while. I'll sit in my melancholy, introverted little self for a while, and I let myself be sad for a moment and feel it. and sometimes write things down. Then it passes. It does pass. So I think the most important thing is if you can get through today, good. Get through today. Don't think about trying to get through an entire year. It's even, and I come from a very spiritual family, and we were raised saying the Lord's Prayer, and it's I have a very interesting background that I will talk about, but the spiritual side of me does come out sometimes, and a part of the Lord's Prayer is give us this day our daily bread. Give us what I need for today. You're not praying for something that'll last a month or a year. What do I need for today? Just let me get through today. So I think that is important. One bite at a time, one day at a time.
What song do you listen to that lifts your spirits when you need that? Is there one particular song
if there is one, but I love Man in the Mirror by Michael. I love Man in the Mirror. It's about self-responsibility. It starts here. And then it makes you look around. When Saida Garrett wrote that, I see the kids on the street with not enough to eat. Willow deeply scarred, a broken bottle top. There's always going to be someone out there who's really struggling. And it might be you for the day, but change also starts with you. You can choose to help someone else and change. And in turn, it changes your attitude. And at the end of the song, it says, make that change. It kind of puts you up to the task. So that's why I like that song. It's a song that I think can touch everyone. It's just a beautiful song.
When did you realize you had this this gift of being able to have so many different ranges and also hear so clearly? Did you know this as a child, as a kid, or was it something that was a secret?
I did. I was a quiet kid. I'm still kind of a quiet person. My parents are very social and talkative, love being at everything. And I was the kid in the background. And I mimicked sounds. I had puppets and they had voices, and I drew characters. And so I was big on expressing myself through other ways and other means. The puppets would sing and the character's name was this, and they were crazy and funny. And I was always kind of this, second, background kid. Tuck me back here and I'll help everything else shine. So I wasn't the one wanting to be center of stage, and I'm similar to that now. I knew I had a gift because everyone around me told me and felt it and gave me reaction. That's how you know. You don't really realize yourself through yourself. You realize yourself through others and through the people that you're around. So I would sing, and then I'd hear a ooh, girl. Oh, wow. When you sing, you hear something in the back. You hear people, oh, wow. You hear that side. And so you're like, oh, I must be doing something right. And you start going, you get courage from your people. And so I got some courage and encouragement from the people around me. And I knew that was the way I should go. But I thought everyone sang. I grew up thinking everyone sang because everyone in my orbit sang, my parents, my family, my friends, everyone around me sang. So I didn't know you could be a person on earth who didn't sing until I hit the real world way later. And I said, I have something valuable. I need to be able to help and teach this somehow. But it was growing up with a father that's a physical therapist who taught me about the muscles and how they can be stretched and healed. And then my mom's side of the family is an academic family, and they were professors. So I put those things together, and I think we're a mix of our parents in some weird way, whether we want to be or not. And that kind of helped me in my life.
The healing part is really interesting, that you were really well versed in that, knowing that you have to rest and heal or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
What is that? Resting and healing? What the heck is that?
It's a real thing. I would see my dad do it, like, okay, we're going to put you in the hot tub or the hot this and jacuzzi, or lay down the table. He's restoring people. I didn't know people needed that till I got, my 40s. And so, after Disneyland, I took a long bath this morning and Epsom salt. But, you need to learn how to heal. And
get out the sage,
Come on.
That's true. Right. Do you have like this like a dream project or a dream client that you would like to work with or like to do?
Of course, and I write it all down. It sounds completely crazy that
Yes.
I want Adele, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, J-Lo, uh, Lenny Kravitz, all my favorite artists to come together on one project that is total encouragement to encourage people. Just encourage whatever it is that they feel like they can, how they can do it. I want them to do it that way, and I would like for it to be one project, and I want the biggest artists in the world to really come together and show how they've come through things and to encourage. It sounds very, heal the world and Disney, whatever, but that to me would save so many lives out there and would bring people together.
Speak it into existence, for sure. And and when you say it, it feels really possible.
It is. Absolutely. Isn't it our responsibility as artists who have survived the first quakes, for lack of a better, because they are like earthquakes, first fame, second fame, third, whatever, first publications, first film, first record, whatever, and have gone on to fortify our craft. Isn't it our responsibility now to take care of and to share what we were taught? I mean, artists were so generous to me that, they set such a high bar as to what my responsibility would be when the white came. The white,
It's gorgeous too. I'm looking at it just flow. I'm like, come on.
I know.
Ready for it. It's beautiful. My
I
God.
wear my white.
Yes.
And I always tell students when they look at me, and they go, "Oh, she's old." I say, "You want them old. You want us a wee bit weathered, child, because we want you to succeed. Where there's no competition here. It's all about you."
That's right.
I want you to go beyond your wildest dreams, to exceed your wish list, your vision boards, your prayer circles, your whatever. I want you to be the top of the game. And what do you give them? You give them the most important thing, Stefan, you, Stevie, time.
That's
and
right.
You listen, like what you do. A great listener is a great teacher, don't you think?
Yes, and there's no greater honor and privilege on earth than to be a teacher for me. No greater privilege. So it's an honor to do this, to work with others. And you said the key word, Lisa, you said responsibility. And that's something that I feel and I felt as a singer and a human. I feel a responsibility. I feel like music chose me. So I have to show up and be the one to assign Earth's greatest songs to the next generation so that these songs could live on and learn them myself and be prepared for life's moments when music is needed. I have to be ready. If music is needed right there, I have to go run and help and fix it and give it.
I need music more. This is my middle name, headphones. I just put them on and go to work. Sometimes just putting on the sound canceller, it's just like, I'm ready.
Silence is sometimes the best song.
That's a good one. That's true.
Do you have your kids work with other kids? Like, I also find that as soon as somebody comes into what we have writer circles where when I'm a professor, that's one of the privileges that I get to participate on occasion with. Don't you find it that as soon as somebody enters your realm, they have the ability to help somebody else, and that by helping somebody else, they get out of their head and start to learn more? And would you talk about that, like your thoughts on that? Because it's so much a big part of healing.
It is. And I think one of the first places an artist's mind goes is to be alone. I need to be alone. I need to go. We charge up alone a lot of time. And I'm an introvert. I recharge alone. But as humans, we are better together. We are better around others. We are stretched and pulled and improved when we're around other people. That's how we're made. That's how we're made. Whether we believe it or not, we are better when we get out of our head and serve someone else. Like you just said, someone has an issue. If I'm stressed about myself and what's happening in my brain, I'll run around in circles in my head if I'm alone until I go see what someone else needs. And I'm like, oh, okay. And before you know it, the whole great day has gone by and you're still here. Life's all right. You're still here another day. And you've purged. It's out of you. You've emptied what's full. And now you're prepared to fill what's empty.
That's so interesting because Stefan, don't you find that I need to be alone? Like I work in a small room alone and make up things. That's my job. But isolation is different than solitude. And why so many of us choose isolating ourselves when it's the exact opposite that also provides inspiration?
Well, I just started what you both are saying is so true. I recently just started practicing this philosophy of Buddhism, and they really encourage people to find community, not to dwell. Solitude, yes, is different than isolation, because coming out of the world that I've came out of with fashion, it was all about communication. And now with writing, it is definitely about, solitude that turns into isolation, so I have to be really careful with that. And as Stevie was saying, with other creatives, like, especially when you have a voice, when you're a singer, it's not like a poet who just writes for themselves. A singer wants to, I feel like they want to connect to people's souls and hearts in some way. And it's hard to do in isolation and, solitude, and not in a good way. Yeah.
You gotta have your audience. Now, see, the great thing about being a writer opposed to an actor right now is I don't need my audience. My audience comes later in the process. But a singer, a great songstress, actor, performer, whatever, you gotta have your audience. It's the part of the formula of the creative overall experience, right?
Stevie, what do you think of this whole social network, social media, and people performing on social media to get a voice? I know we share someone in common who is a very special talent named Avery Wilson, and Avery Wilson was on a singing competition show, and then he was highly recognized on a platform called Vine, and then that goes away. But the voice and the talent is still there. And, how do you feel about like these social media platforms and putting your talents on them?
I'm turning 42 next week, and I like
Happy
you guys,
birthday.
I didn't grow up with social media or phone or internet. So it's still shocking to me that this can even happen. But I'm different than a lot of my peers. I'll be honest with you. I have a very optimistic view about social media and I wouldn't even say social media. It's become life media sometimes. It's beyond social. It's also our work. And, it's a way to do a lot of things now, more than just be social. I think it's incredible that you can do everything on one device. You can record yourself, find your people, find encouragement, put your music out, make your music, announce your album, do all this with one thing, because it took so many steps when I was coming up to record something on a tape, send it out to people, hoping they'll listen to it, tell them I'm a vocal coach or a singer. They didn't even know, like, you're too young, how are you doing this? I would send a resume, a headshot. It's all one thing now on your phone. It's like you're on these apps. And I think for any artist, if you really want to get yourself out there, there's less things stopping you than ever. Less is stopping you than ever. And I don't care what anybody says. People are scared of it, scared of this, scared of that. I really encourage people, get out there, show them, videotape everything. Post selectively and be careful what you put out there, because it's out there. But take film, record your mistakes, record it, videotape. Every big success in my life has been because I probably accidentally recorded something of me doing something pretty cool, or somebody singing something good. Just record it, and you never know. It can live somewhere forever for your next generation of people. But record yourself. It's so easy. It's so easy now to do that. I think it's easier and harder in a lot of ways to be an artist now. But use social media. Use it. You can control what you put out there. It's up to you to control that. But use it. Don't think you can be a great, an up-and-coming artist with a private Instagram page. That's what I mean. I won't even work with you if you do that. You have to. The sacrifice is showing yourself. You're the one who shows yourself so that others can feel connected. You must, even if you have a private profile, have a public one. What are you showing the world? Or if you choose not to give anything of yourself, there are other people in line waiting to be an artist. We don't need more scared people trying to figure out if they want to be a singer or not. Give someone else a turn. But there are people waiting and willing to sacrifice and say, I'd like to tell my story. I hope you can connect to it. So use it up. Use it up. Go live, post it, doing what we're doing now. Say yes. Get out there and live. Make people hear you. Make them hear you. That's my advice.
Well, I think that's amazing. Don't you? Go ahead, Stefan. I'll follow your.
Like, I'm like grinning from ear to ear. Please go ahead.
It's you can't be an artist unless you're a risk taker, honestly. And a lot of times, kids are brutalized for their risks. But I think what you're saying is that you go up to bat, and if you strike out 1,000 times, it's worth that one home run. And we have to. Every artist has failed. That's how or quit, because that's how we get to the next thing. I used to do stand-up and improv theater, and there's no slower and more painful death than a bad night alone on stage. And it's just a slow and painful, and you never forget the bad nights. You might, the good nights just seem to roll on by, but those couple bad nights, it's like woo, woo, woo. It's just, you don't forget. So let's talk about when you hit a wall, or when the wall hits you. How do you get back up?
Woo. I don't even know what kind of advice to give to that, because the only thing I would say is you have to love it more than you fear it, because it's scary. It's scary. It's scary to get up there and give of yourself in any way. But like you said, in comedy and stand-up and singing, and you're putting yourself out there, cutting yourself open, look at me. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you're a better artist because you did it. You come out better because you auditioned for that thing. You never leave an audition a worse singer. You come out with lessons. And you have to love it so much that the fears are just down here and the love is way up here. I love it so much that no matter what, I'm going to outlove it, outlove the fear.
That is profound, prolific, and right on, because, you cannot do these crafts if you're kind of thinking about it. If you're kind of, I might like to be an opera star. No. I might like to be a prima ballerina. It comes from something, and I think and I want you to address this, is when people don't respond to that something that keeps doing, I'm here, come on, let me out. It's almost like being in the closet, which is not one of my issues. I'm nauseam out at this point, but that's part of the elder statesman, is to be out in front so that the younger ones can come up and they have a little bit of a shield. That's my job now too, is to be an out queer lesbian person. Well, I forget what we were talking about. I just went off on my own little song here. It's just
your
like,
own
what
sermon. Come on and preach.
Stevie, you're so incredibly wise in what you say for your young age, and that you have such insight into the human spirit, and I can see why people love working with you, because of the confidence that you have in yourself, and the confidence I bet you can instill in people, because you're so secure in the message that you would like to provide the world. You voice, in some way.
Well, I want to know what your albums were. What were lined up in your room? Like, what were on your Walkman? What were you listening to right now?
Wow. Ella Fitzgerald.
Ah, yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald. Love scatting. I thought scatting was so cool because there weren't any words to remember. It was just notes, and I heard every word she was not saying. And I was able to learn melodies and harmonies through a lot of that. And it sounded like a horn. It was so cool and animated almost. Same with Stevie Wonder and Luther Vandross's tone. I would copy Luther and Stevie and Anita Baker and then oh goodness. And I'd even go and copy Manhattan Transfer and Singers Unlimited, a lot of the tight harmony groups, and Take Six, a lot of their stuff. I just loved singers, and I love brave singers who would take chances, and they would jump off a cliff and land on their feet, you know, and just, you feel like you were going with them, like, you know, like a Tina Turner, and you just were like, whoa, what just happened? They're just fearless. I was attracted to fearlessness when it came to music. I was attracted to fearlessness. Because probably because I have a conservative soul by nature. I have a conservative soul in a way that I'm not going to be the first one to try something. That's what I mean when I say that. And I like the crazies. And I was always attracted to the crazies, the villains, the ones who will just jump off something and just take the chance. And so because I want to become more of that. I want to live. I want to really live. And so I admire that. I admire the courage, the risk takers. And so I've always looked up to them. The Whitneys, she would jump out and just hit a note. You're just like, you fall off. You know, she's the queen.
There's nobody like her.
You know what I mean? The singers that really took the risk and the chance and lifted up.
I do know that. Stefan, what about you? What were your go-to
Well, music has been such a part of our lives, and growing up, I was very lucky to have very young parents and very young aunts and uncles that were almost like brother and sister ages. So I remember clearly crying my eyes out listening to Elton John. It's Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road album. Oh my God. All the Beatles music was just so incredible, and everything Motown, you know, but it was Stevie Wonder, Carole King, Joni Mitchell, like there was, and everyone in my family had different styles. So I was able to get into Rufus and Shaka Khan, while I could get into Peter Frampton, while I could get into hard rock and Jimi Hendrix and Def Leppard. So I was very lucky to have a wide range of music. But my first album, my first CD I remember buying was Madonna. Can you believe it? Madonna's Like a Virgin was my very first CD, you know, and I just loved her, you know, just her way. You know, speaking of National Coming Out Day, she was such a champion in, you know, freedom of expression that I just couldn't keep my eyes off of people like her and Boy George and, you know, and
you're very eclectic. You're very diverse in your, you know.
It took me that my first concert was Prince and Rick James when I was 10 years old.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I had quite an education.
How cosmopolitan are you?
Who opened for who? Did Prince open for Rick James?
Yeah, who?
War was the first act, and then Prince, and then Rick James. So Prince opened for Rick James. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What year was that? You have to tell us the year. I want to know.
That must have been 1978. Yeah. Around, you know, around there. Baltimore Civic Center. Yeah. That must have been.
You never forget it. You never forget your first band. It's like your first kiss. I mean, I'd be curious what any listeners were listening to or who their go-to first, you know. My first album was Soft Parade by The Doors. Jimmy Morrison. Yeah. I was, you know, of course, 6 or younger, but, you know, I thought he was singing to me. I just related so deeply to Jim Morrison. Kind of gives you an idea of why I ended up where I ended up. Whew, Lord, you know, I just loved him.
And someone says disco. Yeah, well, disco.
Yeah.
Disco. Sylvester.
Yes, Sylvester. You make me feel mighty real.
Yeah.
I used to copy that song. I would mimic everything in that song. I love
just keep going. I could listen to that. I could just, like, you know, makes me feel much better about life. Well, yeah, disco. disco. I was from the punker, so you know, it was like, now I love disco. I can't get enough of that ABBA. I just like, oh my goodness, those ABBA people.
Yeah. Like Fever in the theater, you know, like loving that whole album, that whole phrase, Ohio Players. Wow. Yeah.
God,
So
Skin Tight. Oh my God. Let's just go skating. Let's go to Vegas and just skate.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
That big ring, you know, just Skin Tight.
maybe this is how you're very infectious. We can sit here and talk with you forever. I know I want to, you know, like kind of wrap this up and just so you can continue on with the rest of your night. And
thank you for joining us. You know, I say our kids, they're not my kids are grown women people now, but you know, I do feel that the community that is kind enough to watch these podcasts, this conversation, are kids that I care very deeply about. And I think tonight what you've said will definitely carry a tune in somebody's ear.
it definitely in mine, you know, so thank you.
You're so welcome. And to every kid out there listening and who's going to listen, have your own timing in your life. It's good to have your own timing. Don't let anyone push you into anything. Into just do things when you're ready and go the way your life naturally wants to go and become something, become a character. People say, oh, I'm a lot of people think that you're kind of waiting on life to happen or you're trying to find yourself. You're not lost. You know, you don't have to find yourself. You just need to create yourself. Create yourself. Who do you really want to be? Great. If you're not sure, write things down and kind of admire people. I want to be a little bit of that, a little bit of this, you know, and we're a mix of everyone we admire. And I sound like a little bit like everyone I ever listened to. So that's how we keep this thing going. I want generations to go by and for someone to say, I sound a little bit, you know, when Stevie taught this, or I sound a little bit like that. Like, I want to be able to live on like that through all of you, you know, and so keep it going, have your own timing, trust the timing of your own life. And everyone's just respect each other. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you next week. We'll be
Stick around. We're going to sign off. I just want to, can we get your contact if somebody wanted to see your sites or anything?
Absolutely. I'm on everything as Stevie Mackey, STEVIE MACKEY. I'm on Instagram way too much. I'm on TikTok and trying to figure that out. I'm on YouTube and the others, but that's where you can find me. And I appreciate if you hit me up there and learn about me. And I hope something I do encourages you.
Right on.